Good evening, everybody. JT coming to you live on location tonight with Support Local LKN. We love getting out of our little home studio and getting out amongst the community now that we can. And we're out here with a great one. We're celebrating all kinds of things. We got an anniversary we're going to talk about here in a second. We got some businesses that are brand new that are actually just starting to pop open. And we're out here tonight with the owners of the San Gennaro food truck. We have Nancy and Rich with us. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us next to your food truck tonight. We really appreciate you being out here with us.
Thank you, JT.
Absolutely. Some of you may recognize Nancy. Nancy's been on the show before. Nancy is also the owner of Love in the Oven. So she came on with us about 3 weeks ago, somewhere in that
Something
ballpark,
like that, yeah.
and was talking about the frozen meals that she had been preparing out there. I guess this is kind of the next venture. That was kind of a phase one. This is step two.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the background, about you've come from Love in the Oven, and now tell us about what San Gennaro is all about.
Okay, well, Love in the Oven, the Dietitian Delivers, is a weekday meal prep service where we prepare and freeze healthy meals and deliver them to homes and businesses. When the North Carolina was closed, it happened to coincide with when we launched the San Gennaro food truck, which is named after the Feast of San Gennaro, which
Right.
took place in Little Italy 27 years ago when we first started dating. We used to go to the Feast of San Gennaro over on Mulberry Street.
Right?
And there are some in Italy, there are some upstate. You said there were some in
Connecticut,
where you're
absolutely,
from.
absolutely.
Yeah, so like all these different little villages with a big Italian population would have the Feast of San Gennaro. So it seemed like a natural progression to have this. Because at Love in the Oven, my meals are healthy and the menu is diverse, but the things that sold the most, the things that people really demanded, was mostly the Italian food.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I realized that's what the market wants.
That's right. That's right. And we were talking about that before we actually came on live. You know, there's a lot of wonderful food out there, but one of the things that a lot of us that are, especially the ones that started in the Northeast or up north somewhere, is missing a lot of the Italian food. There's not really a big Italian food presence down here. There's some,
Yeah.
but especially not in the food truck side. I think you're
No.
you're one of the only in the area.
In the Lake Norman area, I think I'm the only one that does mostly Italian. There are others further south, but in Lake Norman, I don't know of any others that do Italian.
Now talk to us about two things, because
Okay.
one, for those of you that are watching this right now, I have a confession to make. We were presented with a, what was it called?
Right
Nice.
now,
Zeppelin.
today,
This
the
evening?
Zeppelins.
Zeppelins.
If you have never heard of one of these indulgences, you need to make yourself aware of them as quickly as humanly possible. Can you tell everybody what those are all about?
Zeppelins are Italian donuts. They're dough. I won't tell you what's in it because my friend Carla Basile from Long Island
Right.
gave me her family's recipe that they've been making for generations.
Right.
And they're fried like any donut and served with some powdered sugar. And they're just delicious. For anyone who's from up north, every church bazaar, every feast, any Italian kind of festival
Right.
would always have dozens of vendors that sold Zeppelins, and they were always the go-to. Always, that's what we looked forward to at any of these events.
These things are insane. Anybody that has a sweet tooth and just wants to try something that is not typical from down here, those are amazing. I have to say, tried that firsthand. We were coming here to talk to Nancy and Rich anyway, but I tell you what, it's always great when we have firsthand knowledge of something, and your products are just outstanding.
I
So.
don't know if you can get Zeppelins anywhere else here.
Not
be
that
honest.
not that I've heard of, but let's figure this one out too, because I understand you guys actually have an event coming up just this week.
We do, because it's Love in the Oven's first anniversary.
Right.
A year ago today, we got our permit to launch Love in the Oven through the kitchen and start that service. And it happens to coincide with when we're reopening the San Gennaro Feast on Wheels. So Friday night from 6 to 8, we'll be serving hot Italian heroes. We'll be giving away samples of Zeppeli. So for the first 24
That's
people
where
who
I was
come,
going with
they'll
it.
get
See,
free,
now
they'll
you're
get a
with
free
me.
Zeppeli to try it
Right.
if they're not sure what it is. It's kind of like a funnel cake, but creamier and puffier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you like a funnel cake, you really enjoy it. It's a little different. It's close. It's in the family.
It is very much in the family, and I have to say too, it's got that little one-off to it. Also, you know, it's not typically that fair food, but it's got a lot of that flair and done up to a level of 10. I mean, this is really something that's a treat. Talk to us a little bit. I understand, you know, you do have a little bit of a menu when you are going to get up and running, and I understand that conditions are tough right now. But when you have these events, or when you do manage to get up and rolling with the food truck here, what kind of a menu are you going to be offering in general?
Well, if someone hires us, or if we're here at the Daily Grind or the Mod Midtown, where the Daily Grind is on Center Avenue and Statesville Avenue near Mooresville High School, we'll do breakfast sandwiches, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. If you're from up north, you call it a BECSBK.
Right.
We'll have pancake tacos for the kids, although I've had plenty of adults who
I was gonna say, don't limit it to just kids, all right? I'm coming for one of those too.
yeah, and you know, assorted muffins or coffee cake. The coffee cake through Love in the Oven is very popular. That's a family recipe from going back to the 40s.
Right.
So that'll be available as well. And then when we roll into lunches or dinners, we'll do hot Italian heroes. We'll have sausage and peppers and onion heroes. We'll have meatball parmesan heroes, chicken parmesan heroes. We'll have 2 or 3 of those, or 2 or all of those offerings, depending on what the clients want.
Right.
And then, of course, we have the zeppoli for dessert, and we have cannoli dip as well, which you've also tried.
That is great stuff too, I have to say.
Yeah.
You mentioned briefly about if somebody were to hire you, and I know we talked a little bit before going live. This is a great opportunity now for places like HOAs to get involved and try to bring your own community together. And you guys are not only putting yourselves out there to HOAs, but you've even gone a little bit further with the ordering process to try to maintain social distancing and things like that.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Well, Rich is the brains behind the operation to help us remain socially distant and safe.
Right.
Yeah, so when we do an event, we try to activate the site that you can do pre-orders before you show up. If you are here and you show up, you can scan and the website will pop up, so there's no interaction with money change if people want to keep that distance. And all they do is come up and say, my number's 123. We look it up, we prepare it fresh right there, and then we call you out and we just hand it off to you. So
Right.
just less interaction.
What we were doing during breakfast and lunch on Saturday when we kind of did a soft reopening was we would go and one of us would come out and put it on that table over there, and people would be waiting back there.
Right.
And then they would come and pick up their order.
Right.
So for those who wanted to just take an extra step in precaution, we had that set.
Gotcha. And I think you said this is going to probably go active on Thursday for Friday.
For Friday night. Friday night we'll be serving from 6 to 8, but this will go active on Thursday so people can pre-order and give us an
Excellent.
idea of how much we need to come with.
But right now, if they go to the website, they can sign up for our news blast that will blast out when our events are,
Where we'll be.
maybe new menu items for Love in the Oven, the whole gamut.
Right. And I've got to say this too, for those of you out there that may want to bring, San Gennaro to your community, a lot of places can't accommodate a full-size food truck. And I have to say, you being with a little bit of a smaller operation here, it may fit in very, very nicely too to some smaller communities as well. As long as, the need is there and the demand is there, please give them a shout because they've got a really class act operation here. And I got to tell you, the food is wonderful. Thank you so very much for giving us the opportunity to come out here and chat a little bit about it. For those of you that can't see, obviously behind where we're located right now is where the Daily Grind is in Mooresville. The courthouse is right across the intersection here. Ghostface, our friends over there at Ghostface Davidson Pizza, right beyond the intersection. They're directly across from that, sitting behind Daily Grind, I guess you would call it.
Right. So we're looking for feedback from our clients, our existing clients and potential clients to see when they want us here. Do you want us on Saturday morning for breakfast? Do you want us on Friday night for dinners? Do you want us sometime for lunch? We're trying to get some feedback because right now is a very hard time to use as a reference to indicate anything.
Right,
So
right.
it's hard to plan. So we'd love to hear the feedback of when and where they want us.
Well, we will definitely put that out there, and we'll make sure we tag that in the video as well to make sure they can get in touch with
Great.
you. But I think that's a great point. Let's try to help them and help business owners around here make sure that the demand is there, so they're not bringing in product that they don't need to bring in. But obviously, they want to be here for the community as we want them here. So let's make sure we're giving them a little bit of feedback to tell them, where, when, how we would like them to stay there. And again, it's a wonderful opportunity you guys have. I think this is a great piece of the Mooresville puzzle, and we love having you as part of the community.
Great. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you so much again for joining us. We do have one more coming to you tonight about 8 o'clock. We appreciate you joining us each and every time. So please give us some feedback on this one so we can pass it along to Rich and Nancy here. We'd be glad to pass them the word, and let's encourage them to keep this thing up and rolling the way that everybody really appreciates having San Gennaro around. So we'll be coming to you again tonight. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.